Being 7 games into the season, we are now able to tell for sure what the biggest issues for the Chicago Blackhawks are heading into this season, and they are quite persistent and different from the ones that we've seen earlier on in this season. But I'll be going over all of the ones that we have that we know need to be fixed as soon as possible in this video. But before we do, we noticed that 94% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot to get all your news surrounding the Chicago Blackhawks, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But like I said, we have a few major issues that we need to cover, what we need to fix on this team. We're going to start off the first one, which is not much of something they can control, but something they need to adapt to. And that is just a very tough schedule for the next month or so. You know, the Blackhawks, they started off with a few tough games as well, and that will not stop anytime soon. Right now, you can see for about the next month, up until like mid to late November, they have playoff teams here and there. You know, you got Florida, New Jersey, Tampa, Florida again, Tampa again, Buffalo, who's off to a hot start, Toronto, who's also playing pretty well. You know, it's just something that they're going to have to adapt to. Get learning in these games while you can. So I do expect many more losses in this short span of the schedule now. Like, there's not much you can do about this. It really is just something that they're going to have to work with. Going to have to use this as a learning experience. Going to have to get a lot of, a lot of games where you can see what the difference is going to be from the players after playing these teams for a second time, after playing more skilled teams. Because, very young roster, you're going to want to see what they can learn playing against teams that have been in the playoffs for a long time, playoff teams that are going to be there for the first time in a while, and teams that, are probably Stanley Cup favorites. So the schedule is something that, it's going to have to work around. Obviously, it's not going to be like this the whole season, but for these upcoming about a month or so from today, it's going to be a very difficult schedule. But you're going to see a lot of turnaround, I think, from the Chicago Blackhawks team. Obviously, we have an injury from Taylor Hall, so that is going to proceed us into our next topic, which, it has to do with the schedule, but as well as just the team as a whole. And that is, you have to find a consistent partner for Bedard on that first line. Because obviously, Bedard is not moving away from that first line. There's no chance that happens. But you need to get him a consistent line. 2 guys on the wing. He's played with pretty much everybody on this forward core so far. Right now, on the recent game, he's paired with Nick Foligno and Tyler Johnson. Now, I can agree with Tyler Johnson. Andreas Athanasiou, maybe you can even throw him up there, but he's been with Taylor Radish. He's been with Ryan Donato. And it's just a very crowded line for Bedard. And you can't give him, you're not giving him that opportunity to gel with his line mates. Right now, I really do think this is what has to happen. Lukas Reichel, 7 games, 0 points. I think you need to pair him and Bedard together. I think that those two they would have a very good chemistry together, 2 young guys, 2 quick, 2 skilled guys. And Reichel, what we've seen from him so far, it hasn't been working out. So I think that if you pair him with Bedard's second in points on the team, I do think that would really help Lukas Reichel going forward with this team. And I don't even think you should keep him at center. I think you should keep Bedard at center. The faceoffs have been getting better from him and from the team. So maybe if, you put Lukas Reichel on the wing along with, let's say, Tyler Johnson and Connor Bedard in the middle, maybe you can switch Tyler Johnson for a few people depending on the whole situation. When Taylor Hall comes back, you might throw him on that line. But I do think that you need to get Lukas Reichel on a line with Connor Bedard. That is a must, I think, in my opinion, just for the production of Connor Bedard, getting him more points than what he's on track for right now, because I think that people are going to overestimate him a lot. This Chicago Blackhawks team is still not, superb. They have some good players that can fit in well with Bedard, but they haven't been keeping anything consistent right now. So if you want to see Bedard get what the point total a lot of people think he would going to be getting, you have to make a consistent line. I think that would have to include Lukas Reichel at the minimum if you want to see Bedard get 90, 80 plus points for that matter. You got to have a consistent line. You can't just go out there and leave Bedard to work with a different player every game. That's a tough challenge, especially for even a guy at his skill level. It's going to be challenging, but for a rookie, that is also another challenging thing. But that moves on to, as well, talking about the young core of the Chicago Blackhawks team, the defense. The defense is very, very young, and they have to develop. The left side, especially. The left side currently has 3 rookies, that are going to be, keeping on this team, or keeping with this team, what it seems like. Kevin Korchinski, Alex Vlasic, and Wyatt Kaiser. 3 very, very young guys that, the development is not going to be fully there if you have these guys playing full minutes. Now, obviously, we know Kevin Korchinski is a fantastic player. Alex Vlasic, another fantastic player, and Wyatt Kaiser. Those three guys are going to be very good in the future, but you got to give them time to develop. We know that the defensive position, I should say, takes a lot more time to develop than a forward. Solely because, you're coming up against some of the top players in the league, and a lot of people are going to be seeing the tape on these guys as time goes on, playing them, and they're soon just going to be able to, read what they're going to be doing, know how they play, just because of the lack of experience. So I think that, the Chicago Blackhawks may need to make a move for another left-handed defenseman. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a different situation than other teams, as they're not going for a Stanley Cup. They're not going for the playoffs, but this would be for a development purpose. So I don't think, you want to go out and get a veteran. You might want to go out and get a guy who's on the younger side, maybe even an expiring contract, which we have a name in mind that I think would really work for this defense. He's on an expiring contract, 26 years old, was the name of a name in the mind of people being traded for a defenseman that was not Erik Karlsson last year. So that name would be Noah Hanafin. I think Noah Hanafin is a very good defenseman, capable of being on the Chicago team, being able to teach and mentor the younger guys on this left side defense. He's left-handed. He's 26, but he has a lot of NHL experience, and I think it would work. It's a trade that I think the Blackhawks might need to consider giving up a few prospects for, some that aren't in the NHL right now, some that will have a bit more time to develop, or maybe even, a need that Calgary has. But Noah Hanafin, he's been very good. You can see he's been in the league since 2015, 2016, and he's only 26 years old. It seems like he's been around the league forever, which he pretty much has, nearly 10 years and only 26. So I think that experience, will help this team a lot. It's 4 points in 7 games this year so far, on track for being pretty good, nearly 50, 0.5 half point per game, sorry. And but the minuses in his career are pretty tough. He's on that Carolina Hurricanes team earlier in his career, not when they were off that super team they were now. And the Calgary Flames, he's had a few good years there, proven that he's pretty good. So, I think that a guy like Noah Hanafin would certainly suit this Chicago team well, especially being as young as he is, helping this defenseman they have now, as well as, when the Blackhawks are on track to be good in a few years, I think Noah Hanafin will be around that age where he can work with what they have. He'll be that team leader on the ice along with Bedard and those guys, assuming that this all works out in Chicago's way. A guy like Noah Hanafin is something that you'd be looking for in the Chicago Blackhawks' mind, as well as my mind, that I think that, they work. They need the development. You can't rush defensemen as well and hope that they just develop by playing games, that they're gonna be worked around by the other stars around the league, knowing that this left side is very young. They don't have the experience yet. So you need that development coming from somewhere else. You can't have them just being pushed into the NHL on top line minutes and stuff. So I think that a trade would definitely benefit the Chicago Blackhawks here. But that's all I have for this video. Let me know down below what you think about these issues that the Blackhawks have, what they might need to fix other than what I've said, what you think about a trade for a left defenseman, just to help out the younger guys on that side. But if you liked the video, make sure to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to be posting a lot more Chicago content, getting them into the news, I would say, around Bedard and everything. It's a very interesting team to be around, a very exciting team to be around. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. But that's all I got for this video. Thank you for watching. If you did like it, like and subscribe. So I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.